for stopping all payments after my sister kicked my daughter out with nowhere to go? My name is Isabella, and this house holds memories I have buried. The cell phone feels heavy in my pocket, still warm from my mom's unexpected call asking me to come over urgently. My car is parked in the driveway, and Amelia, my 12-year-old daughter, whom I just left at my friend Sarah's house, comes to mind. It will just be a couple of hours, I told her, trying to sound more confident than I felt. The last time I truly spoke with my parents was at my grandmother's funeral 3 years ago. And before that, it was that horrible day when I was 18 when they decided without hesitation that my sister Chloe was worth more than me. I can still see myself here, right in this same spot, my face soaked in tears while they told me that the money they had set aside for my college fund was going to be given to Chloe for her wedding. But it's for my education, I screamed in a broken voice. Your sister needs a proper wedding, my mom replied, her tone firm as if she were dictating a house rule. You can figure it out. Get a job, take out student loans, whatever people do. That day I left and I never really came back. My grandmother, Grandma Rose, was the only one who stayed by my side. She helped me pay for a state university, not the private one I dreamed of, not the perfect plan I had imagined, but it was something. I held on to that. I worked, I studied, I pulled all-nighters, I got my degree any way I could, and I built my life without them. The following years were a mix of exhaustion, stubbornness, and small victories. I met Mark, my ex-husband, in my last year of college. We got married. Amelia was born, and for a while everything seemed to be in its place. Even after the divorce 2 years ago, things remained civil. Mark pays child support for Amelia, and the two of us above all put her first. Now at 36 years old I am doing well. Between what I earn at Sterling and Pierce Consulting and the child support we get by. Plus, the condo I bought with my grandmother's inheritance in Lincoln Park is our small home, but it's ours. I take a deep breath and finally ring the doorbell. Whatever it is, I tell myself I am no longer the 18-year-old Isabella. The door opens almost immediately. Isabella, you came, says my mom with an emotion that throws me off. She looks older than I remembered. More gray hair, more lines around her eyes. My dad appears behind her, attempting a smile that does not reach his eyes. And Amelia? My mom asks, peeking out as if she expected to see her behind me. She's with a friend. I cut her off walking in. You told me it was urgent. The smell of the house is the same. My mom's vanilla air freshener mixed with my dad's coffee. We walk toward the living room, and I notice that everything looks a little more worn. The elegant furniture they bought for Chloe's wedding does not look so elegant anymore. Do you want some tea? My mom asks, wringing her hands. No, I answer, remaining standing. Tell me, why did you call me? Years have passed and suddenly it's urgent. My mom bursts into tears. Not those discreet tears from when I was a child, but sobbing that shakes her body. My dad puts an arm around her, and my stomach tightens. We're going to lose the house, he finally blurts out. I wait because I know the crucial part is missing. Something is always missing. Your sister. My mom starts, and something twists inside me. Of course. Chloe asked us to take out a loan to help Kevin. For his business, my dad continues, looking anywhere but at me. We put the house up as collateral. Let me guess, I say in a flat voice. Chloe isn't paying. The business went bankrupt, my dad explains as if he were ashamed to say it. Chloe and the kids are struggling. They stopped paying and we can't cover it. I laugh, not a nice laugh, a laugh that not even I recognize. The two of them look at me as if I had lost my mind. So you called me, I say slowly. The daughter you cast aside, the one you took the college money from, to get you out of another problem Chloe created. We know you're doing well, my mom says quickly, wiping her tears. You don't lack for anything. We wouldn't ask you if we weren't desperate. I look at them and for a second I feel like I am looking at strangers, at two people who chose my sister over and over again, who did not even send me an invitation to her wedding, who barely looked at me at my grandmother's funeral because Chloe arrived with the kids and everything revolved around her. I'll think about it, I hear myself say. I surprise myself and I surprise them, but right now I have to go get Amelia. I leave the house with a tight chest and drive without truly feeling the steering wheel. I cannot shake the feeling that I am about to make the biggest mistake of my life, or the most important decision. Either way, nothing is going to be the same again. Mom, why are you crying? Amelia asks as soon as I pick her up at Sarah's house. My daughter has always been perceptive, sometimes too much. I wipe my cheeks, barely realizing that I had been crying on the way there. It's just that I'm thinking about things, my love. I say, trying to sound casual. Today I saw your grandparents. Amelia's eyes light up. Seriously, the ones in the photos? Can I meet them? Of course she wanted to meet them. They were her grandparents, even though they had never taken the trouble to be part of her life. That week I barely slept. I turned everything over in my mind. I imagined scenarios, arguments, fake reconciliations, sincere regrets, traps. You're crazy, Sarah told me at a coffee shop, stirring her drink with a worried face. After everything they did to you. Maybe, I admitted. But Amelia deserves the chance to meet them. And I don't know, maybe I need it too. Enough running away. We went back a couple of times that same week just for a little while to see how things would go. My parents behaved well. Amelia, as always, made them smile. A week later I found myself driving again toward the house in Naperville, this time with Amelia jumping with excitement in the passenger seat. The reunion was weird, one of those where you do not know where to put your hands. My mom started crying again and my dad stood there stiff, as if he did not know what to do, until Amelia broke the ice, running to hug them. First, they stood frozen as if the hug did not belong to them. Then their faces softened, and for a moment I saw something I did not expect. Real joy, the kind I remembered seeing directed at Chloe when we were girls. We spent the afternoon there. Amelia charmed them effortlessly. She showed them her drawings, told them about school, her friends, the spelling bee where she did well. They listened to her as if every word mattered. And when they looked at me I saw something else. Regret. That night on the way back, Amelia was talking happily about her grandparents, and I made a decision. Maybe I was committing an act of madness. Maybe I was preparing myself for them to hurt me again, but I was going to help them. The next day I called a financial advisor to run the numbers properly. The home equity loan payment was heavy, one of those that squeezes your monthly budget tens of thousands of dollars. Even so, with adjustments it was possible. Then I called my mom. I'm going to help with the loan payments, I said before fear overtook me. But Amelia and I are moving in with you. I'm going to get the expenses in order. That's all. We need boundaries. What boundaries? My mom asked, lowering her voice. 1. Amelia is always respected, I said bluntly. 2. No sending money under the table to Chloe while I'm paying for things here. 3. If there's yelling, humiliation, or any of that again, we leave. No arguments. There was silence. Then my mom started crying again. Thank you, Isabella. Thank you, really. In 2 weeks, Amelia and I were already settled. We took advantage of the end of the school year to enroll her in a school near the house, so she would not have to endure a long commute. I bought new appliances for the house. A large refrigerator with an ice dispenser that Amelia thought was the greatest thing. A dishwasher that finally worked. A washing machine that did not sound like it was going to fall apart. With those things, the house felt less heavy. Even my dad complained less about his back, especially because he no longer had to carry heavy things around the house all the time. My mom looked genuinely happy to have us there. Life began to take on a surprisingly comfortable routine. My mom made breakfast for everyone, and although at first I was suspicious, I had to admit it was nice to come down and find freshly made coffee and pancakes on the table. She picked Amelia up from school, helped her with homework, and even started teaching her to bake, something I never had the patience to do. My dad slowed his pace and kept a part-time job. With less physical effort, his aches and pains calmed down a little. He taught Amelia to play chess, something he never taught me, and their weekly games became a tradition. I started staying later at the office with the peace of mind that Amelia was well cared for. One day, Miss Sterling called me into her office. Isabella, we've noticed that lately you're more involved than ever, she told me from her desk. How would you feel about a promotion? The new position meant more money, yes, but also more responsibility. Regular trips out of the city. Before, I would have said no without thinking. Single mom, no support network. Impossible. But now, yes, I replied, surprising myself with how sure I sounded. I accept. The first time I had to travel, I felt a knot in my stomach. 3 days in Dallas felt eternal. It's going to be fine, I repeated to myself 100 times. And it was fine. My mom sent me photos of Amelia doing homework, having dinner, playing chess with my dad. It seemed that finally everything had a rhythm, but there were moments, little things that pricked at me. Sometimes my mom received calls from Chloe and went into her room. She would come out with red eyes saying something had gotten into them. Or I would see bank notifications on her phone while helping her set up a new tablet. Transfers, movements, money going out to an account I recognized. Are you sending money to Chloe? I asked her one night. She needs it sometimes, my mom replied quickly on the defensive. She's going through a bad time with Kevin. Mom, I am paying for everything here. I told her, feeling the heat rise to my neck. The bills, the groceries, the loan payments they abandoned. How is it fair that on top of that, you send her money? You don't understand, my mom blurted out, suddenly cold. It's not Chloe's fault that Kevin's business failed. She has 2 children to feed. And I have a daughter, I replied without lowering my tone. And I'm sustaining this house too. But my mom had already shut down, her expression becoming a familiar mask whenever the topic was Chloe. The conversation died there without resolving anything. Those arguments became more frequent. I tried not to dwell on them because Amelia was happy. I was advancing in my work and most days it felt as if we were healing something old. One night, after a couple of glasses of wine, my dad apologized for the college thing. We made a lot of mistakes, he said, looking at his glass. I was going to say something else to finally have that talk we had been avoiding for almost 2 decades, but my mom immediately brought up the topic of Amelia's school play, and everything was left halfway again. 3 years passed like that. Amelia turned 12. She looked older every week, more confident, more herself. I got used to the rhythm of the new job, traveling every so often, but always returning to a happy daughter. The loan payments were current, the bills were paid, and life seemed stable. Until that Tuesday afternoon arrived. I remember it well because I was coming back happy. I had just closed a big deal in San Francisco and took an early flight to surprise Amelia. From the entrance I heard voices, many voices, too many. I opened the door and walked into a disaster. There, lying on my parents' sofa, the same one I had reupholstered last month, was Chloe. Next to her were 2 children I recognized from photos but had never met in person. Suitcases were scattered around the living room. Bags, a tablet ringing. Chloe was typing on her cell phone without lifting her face. Oh, she said as if I were the visitor. Look who it is. And just like that, without further ado, I knew everything was about to change again. Only this time, I was not the naive 18-year-old Isabella, and I was not going to allow history to repeat itself. I left Kevin, Chloe announced from the sofa with a laziness that gave me chills, as if she were commenting on the weather. He's a loser. We're going to stay here. I stood there with my work bag still hanging from my shoulder, trying to understand what I was hearing. My parents were in their armchairs in their usual spots, looking anywhere but at me. The kids, Ava 10 and Leo 6, were on the floor with tablets as if the house had been theirs all their lives. You're going to stay here? I repeated slowly. In the house where I pay the bills and the loan that you abandoned? Chloe finally lifted her face, her own flushing with color. Oh, here we go, she mocked. Miss Perfect with her money and her job. Some of us have real problems, Isabella. I felt my jaw tense. Real problems? Like taking out a loan with our parents' house and then not paying. I said. That kind of problem? Okay. My mom intervened immediately, as if she were putting out a fire. We're family. We have to support each other in times like this. A short, bitter laugh escaped me. How interesting, I said. Family only matters when you need something. That was years ago, my mom replied curtly. Why can't you let it go? Your sister needs us now. The following weeks were a hell disguised as normality. Chloe took ownership of the sofa. All day on her cell phone, watching TV, complaining, asking for things. Her children ran through the house leaving a mess, and no one said anything to them. But what really broke me was seeing how my parents changed suddenly. Amelia became invisible. One afternoon, Amelia arrived proud with a math test that had an A+ on it. She showed it to my mom, who did not even look at it properly. She just gestured with her hand, busy helping Leo pass a level in a game. Another night, Amelia asked my dad for their weekly chess game. "Not now, I'm tired," he said without looking her in the eyes. 10 minutes later, I saw him in the backyard playing with Ava, laughing as if he had all the energy in the world. I swallowed my anger over and over again until I could not anymore. "Mom," I said one night when Amelia had gone to sleep, "what is happening? Why are you treating Amelia differently? Don't make things up," my mom blurted out as if I were exaggerating. "Amelia is older now, she doesn't need so much attention. Ava and Leo are smaller. They need more support." "Amelia is 12, I said, feeling my voice tremble with rage. "She also deserves her grandparents." But my mom was already leaving in a hurry because Chloe was yelling for her from the living room, wanting more snacks. 2 months dragged on like that. I threw myself more into work to avoid being at the house. I took on extra projects. I arrived late, left early. Chloe still did not look for a job, and my parents did not seem to care. "She's going through a difficult time," my dad said. "Think of the children," my mom finished. Meanwhile, I kept paying for everything. The loan, the bills, the groceries, which now lasted half as long. But the money was not what hurt the most. It was seeing Amelia make herself small in her own home. And then came that Wednesday. I had returned early before the rush hour traffic started, with the hope of taking Amelia out for ice cream, our way of getting a breath of fresh air when the atmosphere was unbearable. I heard shouting before I even opened the door. "You are a spoiled brat." Chloe's voice thundered through the entire house. "Look at this mess. You are going to pick it up right now." I entered abruptly and saw her standing over Amelia. My daughter was on her knees gathering toys scattered on the floor. Toys that I recognized as Leo's. "What is happening?" I asked in a hard voice. "Your little princess thinks she's too good for everything," Chloe spat. "She doesn't want to help in the house. She feels she's too good to pick things up." I looked at the toys again. "Pick up your own children's things," I said. "And where are they?" "They're napping," Chloe replied shamelessly. "Someone has to maintain order here. And since you're never here." "I'm not here because I'm working," I exploded. Unlike other people who spend their time lying around expecting others to solve their problems for them. The argument got ugly fast. Chloe ran to my parents crying, saying that I was attacking her, that I was humiliating her, and they, as always, took her side. "Isabella, understand," my mom pleaded. "Chloe is vulnerable." "And Amelia?" I interrupted. "What about my daughter?" Nobody answered. They never answered. When it came to choosing between Chloe and me, I thought that was already the worst that could happen. I had no idea what was coming. The following week I had to fly to San Diego for an urgent meeting with a client. It was supposed to be 5 days. "Are you going to be okay?" I asked Amelia for the umpteenth time at breakfast. "I'll be okay, Mom," she said, forcing a smile. "I have my phone. We'll video call at night." For days later my cell phone rang. It was Amelia. "Mom," she said, her small voice broken by crying. "I'm outside. I'm on the sidewalk next to the gate. Chloe kicked me out. She said I was in the way. I only have my phone." I didn't know what to do. The air left me. My 12-year-old daughter was on the street. At night alone. With my hands shaking I dialed Sarah. "Please," I begged her, dignity forgotten. "Can you go get Amelia? She's outside my parents' house. Please, you live close." Sarah did not hesitate. "I'm on my way," she said. "Don't worry. I'll pick her up and bring her to my place." Then I dialed Chloe. She answered on the 5th ring, annoyed. "What?" she snapped. "You kicked Amelia out," I said. I sounded strange to myself, as if I were speaking from far away. "Oh, the little princess already called you," Chloe mocked. "Maybe she'll learn her lesson that way. Always talking back, always thinking she's better than everyone." I hung up. I dialed my mom. "Your granddaughter is on the street," I said with a cold voice, controlled by force. "You know about it. Did you see Chloe kick her out?" There was a pause. Then my mom's voice hardened. Maybe it's better this way, Isabella. Maybe you and Amelia should look for another place. You don't fit in here anymore." And she said it as if she did not care that the neighbors heard, as if she did not care what people would think. In that instant, everything became clear. Some things do not change. Some people do not change. You're right, I said slowly. We don't fit in. We never fit in. I hung up and bought the first flight back. It was over. The flight felt eternal. Sarah sent me text updates on Amelia every half hour. I could not rest until I had my daughter in my arms. I arrived at Sarah's house almost at 3 in the morning. Amelia was asleep on the sofa. She still had tear marks on her cheeks. Sarah signaled for me to speak softly. She told me what happened, she whispered. And it's worse than you imagine. I sat next to my daughter and stroked her hair, trying not to break down right there. According to Amelia, Chloe had been treating her like an assistant for weeks. She asked her to clean, to look after the children, to help cook, to do laundry. Amelia kept quiet because she did not want problems, because she thought that I was finally okay with my parents. Until she got fed up. She had an exam and needed to study. She told Chloe she could not keep putting everything off. Chloe exploded. Get out, she yelled at her. Out of my house. It's not your house, Amelia answered, trembling. My mom pays for everything. Then Chloe grabbed her by the arm and pushed her toward the door. And my parents were there, watching without doing anything. I let Amelia continue sleeping. That night I did not sleep. I made calls. First, I called the management of my condo building in Lincoln Park to see what my options were. Then I called the agency that was managing the rental, because when we moved in with my parents, I had rented it out to be able to sustain the loan payments. I need to get the apartment back as soon as possible, I told them. It's an emergency. Tell me what can be done without getting into legal battles. Then I called my lawyer, asking what I could do about the things I had bought from my parents' house. Finally, I called a moving company and set a date. The next morning, I took Amelia to breakfast at her favorite little diner. She sat in front of me with her pancakes intact, picking at them without appetite. Honey, I told her carefully, looking her in the eyes. I need you to be honest with me. This had happened before, hadn't it? Chloe has been unkind to you before. Amelia lowered her gaze and remained silent. That silence told me everything. She said I was spoiled, she whispered at last. That I acted special because you have a good job. And Grandma said the same thing. She said I had to learn my place. My hand trembled around the coffee cup. Why didn't you tell me? I asked, my voice a threat. Because you looked happy, said Amelia, looking up. She had those serious eyes that sometimes made me forget she was only 12. You smiled more. And when Aunt Chloe wasn't there, sometimes Grandma and Grandpa were nice to me. I reached out and took her hand. Listen to me well, Amelia, I said slowly. Nothing, absolutely nothing, is more important than you. Not my parents, not that house, not the money, not anything. We are going to get our condo back, and this time we are staying there. After breakfast, we went straight to my parents' house. Chloe's car was not there. Who knew where she was? She never seemed to be looking for a job. My mom opened the door, her surprise noticeable. Isabella, we didn't expect you to return so soon. I did not answer her. I entered with Amelia holding my hand, firm, as if my life depended on not letting go of her. The movers were already outside waiting. They're taking everything I bought, I told the men without hesitation. The refrigerator, the washing machine, the dishwasher, the sofa, the television, everything. I went around pointing out every single thing I had bought in 3 years. I took out folders with receipts, bank statements, and invoices. You can't do that, yelled my mom, and for the first time in a long time I saw her truly scared. We need those things. Yes, I can, I replied calmly, handing over the papers. They're mine. My dad arrived while the movers were disconnecting the home theater system I had bought last Christmas. He stood in the entrance, looking at everything as if he were watching a movie. Isabella, he started. No, I cut him off. Don't say anything. My voice did not tremble. That was what surprised me the most. Did you see Chloe kick your granddaughter out onto the street? I said to him. You saw her and you did nothing. You chose Chloe over me again. And this time you chose her over Amelia too. I took a deep breath. It's over. But the loan, my mom stammered, her voice broken. The payments. The bills. I looked at both of them. You're going to have to resolve it yourselves, I said. Just like I had to resolve my education alone, Just like Amelia had to resolve what to do when she was put out of her own home at night. I slung my bag over my shoulder, took my daughter's hand, and said one last thing without raising my voice. Consider this my final payment for all the times you chose Chloe. The following months were intense. They did not stay quiet. The calls started the next day. First my mom, then my dad, then Chloe, then my mom again. They left messages that went from furious complaints to tearful pleas. The texts were worse. Screenshots of overdue bills, photos of the children with sad faces, messages trying to make me feel guilty. My mom even sent me photos of my room from when I was a teenager, as if that were going to change anything. One night, once we were settled again in our condo in Lincoln Park, we were on the balcony eating pizza and watching the sun hide between the buildings. "Why don't you answer them?" Amelia asked when my cell phone vibrated with another message. I turned it over face down. "Because we owe them nothing," I replied. Sometimes the best answer is no answer at all. Amelia nodded as if she had understood this for a long time. "I miss when Grandpa played chess with me," she admitted later in a quiet voice. "But I don't miss how they made me feel when Aunt Chloe arrived." I hugged her. "If you want, I can get you lessons," I told her. "Or sign you up for a club. You can learn with people who don't cast you aside when someone else appears." Time went on. Through the family grapevine I found out things. My parents had to go back to work full-time. They struggled with payments. The bank started pressuring them more and more. Chloe still did not work. She kept speaking ill of me to whoever would listen. I used the money that used to go to their house for something else for us. I started taking Amelia on weekends to places we had always postponed. We went to state parks. We walked along the lakefront. We took cooking classes together. We made plans without the weight of that house and without walking on eggshells all the time. At work I also did better. Curiously, with the drama far away, I could truly concentrate. And when I traveled, I no longer did it with my heart in my throat. Amelia was safe, she was calm, she was with me. Her grades improved without interruptions, without shouting, without having to take care of anyone. She joined the school chess club and made new friends. Sometimes I caught her looking at old photos of when we lived with my parents. She would remain silent, but she never asked me to go back. One Sunday morning, almost a year after we left, I was making breakfast when Amelia entered the kitchen thoughtful. "Mom," she said, "are you happy now?" I stopped whisking the eggs and stood still, thinking truly. I was happy. Happy to have gotten out of a toxic place. Happy to have protected my daughter. Happy to have finally broken the pattern of always putting Chloe first, even if it destroyed me. "Yes," I finally replied. "Yes, I am." "Me too," she said, as if confirming something. Amelia smiled. A bright, calm smile, one of those I had not seen on her for years. "Yes," she said. "I like that it's just us." That same day I deleted my parents' numbers from my phone. I did not delete the voicemails. I saved them in a folder with a simple name. Never again. To remind myself if doubt ever entered my mind why we left. A couple of years later, I found out through a cousin that the bank had ended up foreclosing on the loan. The house went to auction after months of notices, collections, and fights. My parents moved to a small apartment and Chloe, according to what they said, found someone else to support her. A new boyfriend, apparently. Sometimes I ask myself if they ever understood what they did wrong or if they keep telling themselves the story that I am the selfish one, but the truth is I no longer care. Amelia and I might be a small family, but we are a real family. We travel when we want, we laugh when we want, and we never have to apologize for taking up space in our own home. And the money that before went to pay for my parents' problems now goes to where it always should have gone, to my daughter's future, to her college fund. And this time, no one is going to take it away for anyone's wedding. Comment. What a powerful journey of reclaiming your life and protecting what matters most. I hope this story reminds you that setting boundaries isn't selfish. It's a profound act of self-respect. Sometimes protecting your peace means making the hard choice to walk away from situations that repeatedly hurt you. Healing can begin only when you create a safe environment for yourself and for the people who depend on you. This story shows that you can't be responsible for other people's choices, but you are always responsible for your own well-being. True kindness must include you, especially when others rely on your strength. You deserve to be a priority in your own life. It's never too late to break a painful cycle and choose a different future. May you always find the courage to choose your peace and build a life where you and your loved ones can truly thrive. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.